Gucci. What's up, Lala Journal? Wait, now what? There we go. I think we should be good now. What's up, Red Dot? First comment from X. That's new. I love it. ICU's in the house. Savard, La La La, and Jenna. Welcome, everybody. Good rising indeed. We are rising. Brandon Bart. Okay, we're starting to. That's cool. People are slowly streaming in. Welcome to Simulation Talk 133. Belucas, Mac Bruley, Arrow. Wow, dude. My rating is not moving on TikTok, huh? I don't know what is that. I wonder if they marked it in some way. Okay, so we have some invitees. That's good. Welcome, everybody. I'm going to wait a few more seconds just before I do the first intro. I mean, something is always new, right? I see you. Wings of Beauty. Love it. Misled. You're looking at a standing wave in your nervous system. The patterns in the standing wave are language that causes perceptions when you read it. The combination of the laser and the molecule is inferring with our ability to read it. So if you're saying the letters rather than what the word is saying. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, all the intuition in that experience says that it's in the surfaces, it's in the physical matter. And yes, there is such a thing as physical matter. But out of curiosity, what are you basing these assumptions and or assertions on? I'm still interested. Have you experienced the laser? Have you tried it? How are you, Ben? Good to see you, man. Always good to have you here. Are you, by the way, you got my email, right? If I just wait a little more, you go live. Ambient Glass is, I told you, Ambient Glass, don't expect me to answer that quickly. It might take a week. It might take a few weeks. It's just how it is. There's just too many things to attend to. Social media and messages and emails and all that stuff is the last thing on my list. I have a lot of things to attend to, so when I get around to them, I get around to them. And also, I have responded to you, by the way. Welcome, everybody, to Simulation Talk 133. That's quite amazing. Ben, oh my God, Ben already gifted 5 people. Dude, you're crazy. I mean, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you so much, and I'm sure that the people that you're gifting it to are also grateful. But wow, man, first like is mine. Nice, Gustavo. Ben, did you get my email? Good morning. Why didn't Danny Jones want to see the code, but taking the molecule and talking with you about it? It's not that he didn't want to see the code. When people do the molecule for the first time in their life, it's very important to keep it exactly what the molecule dictates that it needs to be. So somebody is doing the molecule, spoke about this before, and they run towards the laser after, great. If they don't, you should never push them. By the way, that this also applies to everybody. It definitely opens some kind of a portal, and for some people, it's a lot. So Danny did see something in the beginning, and then we went to do more molecule, and then after that time, he fully launched. That was the first time he fully launched, and then he was just sitting there, just with his eyes open. He was, that was a lot for him. So also, just so you know, and I think we put it in a protocol, but I'm not sure we did. And if we haven't, I should put it in a protocol. But if you've never done the molecule before and somehow you arrived at the conclusion that you should do this, right? It doesn't always mean that you should. But I always recommend to separate them. Don't do it on the same day. Do the molecule first, sit with it, be with it, absorb it, process it, sleep on it. The next day, you can try doing the molecule with the laser. But I usually don't do them in the same day. It's just that because we had one day, we kind of jam-packed them together. What's the topic? Good question. Wonderful question. And it gives me a great opportunity to introduce the channel to all the newcomers. Welcome to Simulation Talk 133, the channel that usually revolves around the simulation hypothesis. My name is Danny, and I'm claiming to have found proof that we live in a simulation. I've devised an experiment a few years ago that I became vocal about that has now sparked quite a debate, even among experts. And we're now meeting here every single day to discuss that topic. The experiment itself, the implications, as well as science in general, religion, spirituality, philosophy, God, whatever comes to mind, that's what we talk about. Hopefully this gives people some overview. And if you need more details, you can either watch my videos on TikTok or YouTube, which is Dango Thoughts, which are the ones that I recommend more because they're longer format. The other platforms are X, which is Goller Danny. TikTok and Instagram is Danny Goller. Twitch is LaserX83, and YouTube is the most important one, which is Dango Thoughts, DANGO Thoughts. Just because you have the content in full length there. I've also added a members program on YouTube, and Ben is in the habit of gifting people 5 gifts. Basically, every time he shows up. It doesn't mean that he will always be doing this, but so far, it's worth mentioning. I'm kind of blown away by this, but the members program, depending on the tier, will allow you to have early content to a lot of the videos that I'm releasing, Zoom calls with the members group, Zoom calls in private, depending on the tier. And I even just added another tier, which is the top tier, which will give you 5 guided sessions with me. We're going to be doing a lot of conversations and diving deep into different topics. So if you want to join the members program to any capacity, it definitely helps with the channel and helps me to focus on this project full time. Good evening, artifacts. Jesus proves your theory. Thank you, Jesus, for proving my theory. Have you read the Pistis of Sophia? Story of Sophia. I am familiar, yes. Just for everybody, in general, I know it's going to sound weird, but I'm actually not that interested in all the theoretical different theories. There's an infinite number of them. I'm now at this point interested in what we can prove and or talk about with substance in a way that we can substantiate. Have I heard of this or this or this or this? Yes, I've heard of a lot of things. I haven't heard of a lot of other things. But in the end of the day, can we prove it? That's the one thing that I'm interested in. That's what got me on this journey, and that is the thing I'm going to stay loyal to. Thank you, Ben. Yeah, Tuesday, by the way, everybody on X, there's going to be a discussion between me and one of the leading experts in the field, Andrew Gallimore, on Tuesday on X Live. That's my dog. She's dreaming and barking at people in her sleep. So we're going to have a little bit of a discussion. It's going to be 5 p.m. Pacific time on X Live. And we're going to have, a discussion about what's going on. What is it that I'm claiming to have actually found? And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of other fun topics that's going to come into conversation. So you guys feel free to join. Once again, my X handle is Goaler Danny. The opposite of what you see on TikTok. By the way, on TikTok you also have my link tree, which will link you to most of the stuff. We're also working on a film about the discovery, and if you guys feel inclined and you have the ability, you can donate for a production of the film, or you can always go to our website, codeofreality.com, codeofreality.com, and you can, if you want to replicate the experiment, you have the protocol there, the types of lasers you need. And once again, if you want to contribute to the project, you can also order one of our lasers, but you're by no means obligated. And if your thing is saving money, then please save your money and just source the lasers from anywhere that you can find them for the cheapest. Paris Cabral is asking why I want to open a porthole. I didn't say I want to. I'm saying many things opening portholes. This is one of them. The code the observer sees must be meant for the observer, right? Nope, not necessarily. Not necessarily. All of these things are not that clear cut yet. Can you show drawings of the symbols? It's in the trailer. So if you watch the trailer on YouTube, you will see the symbols in the drawing. I'll check it. I'm just starting my weekend. Awesome. Why, Ben? What do you do, Ben, if you don't mind me asking, if you don't mind sharing? Billy Carson debate shows his true colors. I mean, it was always obvious. I mean, I don't know how people don't see it. This is, I don't know how people, like, what? I have no idea how Billy Carson got to the level that he's at today. I have no idea. It blows my mind. It blows my mind that a person like that is successful at that. But I mean, hey, con artists are good at what they do. I guess he's not even a good con artist. Like, he's so clearly full of shit. Sorry, like, it's true. Casey, how are you? How you doing, brother? Ben is rich. Good for him. Ben is the man indeed. You're maverick of the molecule. Thank you, old dirty case. Old dirty case. From Twitch, we have a comment. Привет, мужик. Как у тебя дела? У меня прекрасно, как у тебя? Still got my Russian one once in a while. You are definitely not reading my messages. I'm trying to help. Brother, no, listen. There's the amount of things that I have to attend to. It truly is enormous. I'm doing my best. The pressure of feeling pressure from somebody that they need me to answer their messages, then you're definitely not helping. I hope it's clear. Then the second you produce that pressure, you're not helping. You're doing the opposite of that. So also, I did respond to your messages, but again, guys, I had to tell people sometimes, like, if there's too much of that pressure, and this is not personal, by the way, I want to make it very clear, it's not personal. It's just that there's only so much responsibility and pressure I can take during the day. If somebody is actively adding pressure, I have to stop answering them altogether. And this is not personal. I have to allocate my energy and attention, and it just happens when you need to give a lot of attention. So take that into account, brother. I might not respond for days. I might not respond for weeks, especially on social media. Like I said, I do not check those. If I respond to you at all, that means that I'm actually making an effort to go search for yours and actually respond to it. Email is much easier, and recently I've been backed up with emails as well. But in general, if I see somebody is demanding a response all the time, I will stop responding. I can't. I simply can't. You didn't get my email. Hold on. Let me check now. Side. Whoa. Okay, hold on. Let's see what we can do here. What is that? I'm gonna find it now. Weird. Okay. Okay, so I have to search for the guy. I think I sent it out and then I put it into my like done sending, but I don't see it right now, so I gotta find it. You said your name on Ben. Your name in the email is different, right? It was yeah, I don't see it, which means like on my end it means I responded. Well, anyways, I'll find it either way. But just remind me, what was your name on the email? Made a lot of different products for lots of people. I was in the right place at the right time. Sounds like a success story. Sounds amazing. Ufology, how are you, brother? Where can we buy my booze? What booze? Oh, there's something else before. Ben Ben was manufacturing booze. Got it. It's definitely not in your inbox. Ben, remind me what your email is, or what was Devin? Right? Okay, hold on. Okay, there you go. Oh, it went to like it was done and not. What? How is that possible? Okay, all right. So in either case, I'm gonna put it on my special notes right now. So for sure you will get a response now, and also there you go. Now there's a response, and I'll follow through right after the response. Perfect. Amazing. Perfection. That's kind of crazy that I fell between the cracks. Apologies. I'm so happy that I caught you here. Okay, great. What's up, Caroline? Good to see you. The dog, yeah. The dog's dreamy. She's very adorable. Okay, now I'm going to go back to some of the comments. And Nico, how are you, brother? I'm always going to send an invite. When Danny says weird, it must be weird. Actually, this one wasn't that weird. It's just that an email that escaped my response and was marked as done, which is crazy. I mean, for me, it is because I have a protocol that I'm following. Key creation experience. Nicole's in the house. How are you? Trying to go to the comments as fast as possible. Are the letters similar to Hebrew at all? Yes, some of them definitely looks like some Hebrew aleph. But again, these are all approximations. Very important that we don't take what I'm saying right now as if it is or Japanese or anything. It's more like universal language, something like this. Extra letter in Chase's surname. Did I use in my description or where? Ufology. Have you written a few questions for Gallimore? Not talking about my question suggestion. No, I don't write questions. I don't do that. What needs to come through me comes through me in real time. That's the best way that I operate. The second I start making things up in advance, I start stumbling within my own thoughts and starting to have all kinds of ideas that are not necessarily relevant to that moment because I was trying to dictate what was supposed to happen when what was not the case. So I'm trying to stay in the moment. I never did, never will write questions before in a conversation. I know where I'm coming from. I know what I know, and I understand the subject matter really well. That's all I need to be able to engage with somebody. Some people work better when they're preparing in a different way, so they have some notes because maybe they might get, they might get stumbled. Or for me, that's actually the opposite. It actually takes me out of the moment. AI prediction. Oh, you got it. You mean like are we AGI? Is that what you mean, Nicole? So what are we talking about? So yeah, that's the short answer, Gustavo. Some people operate better when they're prepping this way. I don't operate better when that happens. It goes the other direction for me. I just Ben, I just responded to your email that you sent before that apparently was marked as done for some reason, but I'm glad we found it. Tapping in the flow of AI. Cool. When did I say something about AI today? I mean, I have said quite a few things, but not today. Nathan is saying, "Hey Dan, I have a bit of an odd question about the molecule that I've never heard anyone mention before. Is there any awareness of smells in that space? Cheers. Keep up the good work." Great question. I think that the only smell that is very pronounced is obviously the indole, so the smell of the molecule itself. I'm not aware that there's any smell in the space. Never thought about that even. I can tell you that some emotions and feelings are actually made out of different kind of a thing. What do you mean by tapping the flow of AI, Nicole? It's not that clear to me. Have you watched my Are We AGI video? If you haven't, you should, because you will kind of get my position on it. It's a short one. It's both here on TikTok and you can also find it on YouTube on Dengo Thoughts. But if you want me to comment on it now, I don't mind. I just truly don't understand the question. What do you mean by tapping in the flow of AI? Some thoughts I've had while looking at the code. Have you ever seen the Gumbies, which actually more resemble Mr. Bill Claymation in the molecule space? A lot of these words are not familiar to me, so I'm pretty sure no, unless I misunderstand what you mean. You said you were going back to Potter. I'm looking for advice on the device. The best one I think is, I mean, depends what you mean by best one. The one that will torpedo the most is the ones that somebody will probably be able to correct me, like help us here. But the one that basically vaporizes on the spot like a straw, and it has like a ceramics that heats up very much. That one, but it's pretty wasteful, to be honest. But the one hitters are really good. Yeah, I haven't done it in a while, so it's kind of I'm sure there's like new things that I'm not aware of. So the Magic Eye stereoscope gaze mandatory? No, not at all. Laser molecule and then the Magic Eye. No, no, no. So I see that this is a reoccurring misunderstanding. A Magic Eye is not mandatory at all. If you practice a little bit of it before, the gesture that it forces you to do helps a little bit with being able to play with the distance inside. It is not mandatory whatsoever. Some people just see it right away. They don't need to do anything. I think the more helpful gesture is when you look from the front hand to the back hand, and when you switch between the front hand to the back hand, and then just kind of register what it feels like when you're making that switch. That's the gesture you want to be focusing on. Apologize, never seen your preface. Honestly curious of the energy flow that are studied. I see. You're talking about in the laser. So, are you aware of the experiment that I'm proposing? Basically, I've discovered that if you projected a diffracted laser on the surface, and you ingest the spirit molecule, you will see code running in the surfaces. That's essentially the proposition. AI. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time. Nicole, if you want, you can come on to protect. You're speaking in like too abrupt of sentences, and I'm not sure what you exactly what you mean. You can always request to come on, and I can bring you on, and then we can chat. That'll be easier, I think. Yeah, I know that not helping. So just come on, just request, to come on and speak, and I'll approve you, and we can chat. Ben is throwing like this in every live session. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of dope. Ben, in the next round, if there's another round, again, no obligation. Danny Giorfi should definitely be one because he's one of our OGs. In fairness, Billy Carson is very open about his business motives. Well, it has nothing to do with being open. I have no problem with anybody making money if they're bringing value. Billy has zero value in the field that is trying to occupy. Zero value. Exactly zero. So that's why I'm not okay with that. I have no problem with people making even a fortune. It's fine. If you bring value to people, you should be compensated. That's wonderful. It's not that. Is that the things that he purports to know and understand and educate people about, he doesn't know the first thing about. And it's very clear from the moment that you hear him speak, if you know a thing or two about the things that he's talking about. So that's what makes him a con artist, is that the thing he purports to be able to sell you, he doesn't have. What do I do in 2009? Oh, started being a distiller, making whiskey, came up with a great idea, and someone bought it. Now I run a merch business, making shirts, living next to the beach, playing my guitar. Dude, that's incredible. We should talk. I have some stuff actually with the clothing brand that had some specific. Well, there was some trademark issues there, and now I'm resolving them. So we should talk about that because who knows? You might want to jump in on that together. Let me know. We'll talk about it. Thank you. This has been life changing, and I haven't even smoked the molecule yet. Biologist. That's amazing, Mason. Mason Michael Black. Welcome to the chat. Guitar in the beach, man. That's incredible. Spending my life studying why the universe works for the fun of it. I mean, that sounds like the life, man. Denny's almost pathologically generous with his time. No, I wouldn't say that. That's not true. I appreciate the compliment, but I don't think that's true. Am I Dutch? No, but I'll take it as a compliment. I'm Russian originally. I'm an American, but I was born in Russia. Some thoughts I've had while looking at the code. The code is the background in the background floats around, right? And as you observe the surface, it seems to print itself. Like your brain reads the code, then renders. Never noticed that before. I don't know if it floats. It's more like it's changing a lot and flickers across multiple layers up to infinity in the z-axis, which is how do you request to join? I'm not sure. Somebody can help because I'm not sure. I've never been on the other side, so I'm not sure. Let's see. Oh, there you go. I can send you an invite for some reason. Now you just gotta approve. There we go. Welcome. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate this time. I talked about AI because I feel like it's important about the energetic and the quantum physics side of it. And that's why I brought it up.
Okay. So interesting. So what is the specifics that you wanted to talk about in that field, in that space?
I wanted to talk about the quantum physics side of the slit experiment where the observer observes, and it's like it's a quantum jump. So it's very profound.
Right. So just a double slit experiment, is that what you mean?
I mean so much more than that. I mean truly so much more. And thank you so much, by the way, for having me.
Sure.
I truly mean it, and I'm a little nervous. And
no need to be nervous. Let's take it one step at a time. So, what is the connection to AI that you're making? I'm fascinated.
I feel that we're on the brink of a precipice that's just going to change everything, and so everyone needs to shield their energy, and that's what I'm talking about, the energy shield. Because when there's so much quantum energy computing against you or against anyone, not just like, you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of power.
Why do you think it computes against us?
I don't mean against, I mean compounded.
Compounded. So there's a lot in the field, and then you have to kind of, in order not to be kind of influenced by it too much.
I don't mean influenced, but I mean that it's something like I'm very sensitive to electromagnetic frequency, like the sounds, and so I'm very sensitive, like just to sound, and so I feel that I pick up about this huge shift, and like it's just really big, and I just think we need to talk about more.
Okay. So yeah, so I mean I know what I guess what you're referring to, and in the context, I'm not really sure what the connection is with the double slit experiment. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I guess from the perspective of like mainstream science, the way that AI, what the way it is in the moment, it's not necessarily connected to anything quantum, but I do agree with you that ultimately the whatever shift is happening has to involve the quantum layer because that's essentially reality at bottom. So are you coming at this more from a slightly spiritual perspective?
Yes.
Okay. And you were always sensitive to these energies?
Yes.
So would you say that you felt and you're feeling the shift obviously rising up? Basically, you feel it more than what other people feel. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And what did you notice that are good potential ways to, like you say, shield your energy?
Well, you have to, there's a lot, but there's a lot to protect yourself. But what I'm trying to project and portray is the bigger scope of what's portraying and what's coming with like AI. And like, I'm so sensitive to these frequencies, and like it's compounding. Like it's so compounding what's happening. So how do we protect ourselves? And so how do our nature, grounding mats, sea salts. I'm just being honest. I'm being truly honest because I'm so sensitive to the sounds.
The sounds.
To the frequencies.
Interesting. And so let's say you walk into a room with a lot of and nowadays it's basically everything because every structure has a lot of people and there's a lot of phones where there's a lot of
Yeah.
people. So whenever there's like a big concentration of people, you would say that because everybody has a phone, you feel that compounding power. Would that be accurate?
It's not accurate. It's slightly accurate, but I'm sensitive to frequent. I'm not BSing you. I promise.
No,
Like,
no, I know. It's just I'm trying to understand the specifics of what you're saying.
okay, so I
Yeah.
live in a metro downtown,
Okay.
in a metro in the United States, and when I go to the countryside, I don't feel this energy.
Mm.
But when I come back to where we live, it's so compounding, and I hear everything, I feel everything, I can't turn it off. But I feel the quantum computing side of it. It's so much bigger than we can understand. It's big right now. It's big, and I feel it.
Well, I mean, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Of course, it's big. What is where do you like a big city like New York or LA?
Similar.
Huh?
Yes.
Got it. And but you didn't grow up there. You grew up in a place because you said go back home. So you grew up in a place that is
The
not a big.
countryside. It's like country, rural.
Got it. Okay. So you're saying what I didn't understand. I guess what I'm trying to distill from this is if we want to give. So I agree with that, right? I agree that there's a process that is very big and it's growing very fast, and we are becoming part of it. But until we kind of integrate, when it still feels external, there is this element of like the separation, and then the separation creates this friction with this something very big. So the question is, do I asked you, and I'm not sure that I fully understood the answer. Do you have a way that you found that can help people to actually shield their energy? You said something with salt, right?
Sea salt and Epsom salt and grounding and deep breaths and walking outside and taking deep breaths. It's a big deal. Like, I'm not being fictitious or being funny. Like, I really mean this. Like, this is a big component of the metro life, and spiritual people that are trying to integrate just the electromagnetic waves that exist before AI. And now AI is quantumly coming in, and it's coming in huge. And we have to understand how to shield ourselves and how to ground ourselves.
Okay. So basically, I think grounding definitely works. I felt the effects of it. I actually recently got one of these grounding sheets that before I thought it was kind of silly, but then I saw that there was some data there, so I tried one. And I have to say that I think I feel the difference when I sleep on one.
Well, I have to understand, I have to explain. I have synesthesia, which I hear colors. I hear colors when I see, and then my son has perfect pitch. So we're very sensitive. My family is very sensitive to frequency. So
Okay.
we're very sensitive to the electromagnetic anything. So add that with quantum computing, and it's just like we're very sensitive to the frequencies.
Okay. I mean, I understand. Cool. Like I understand, but what, like, from this
What's the
point,
point? What's the point?
yeah, yeah. What is the thing that you feel that people should take away from this? So,
My
I
thing that I want to tell people is to shield yourself, understand how to ground your aura, understand how to own yourself, and not like let things penetrate, because I'm a sensitive person and I know what it sounds like, and most people don't know what it sounds like, and like everything's quantumly coming in quicker, and like people are going to understand what it feels like, how I feel. And so it's just like protect yourself now, like from the energy waves, and like I'm not being woo woo woo, like I promise, but it's just like it's coming like quick, the AI quantum thing, and like it's just the vibes, and it's just like if I'm sensitive and I'm supposed to protect people, and I understand you're very patient. I understand your patience, and thank you for having me on.
sure.
And I know it sounds silly and all that, but like,
No, I don't think it sounds silly. I'm just always trying to find like the thing that people can maybe take value from. So you said many things about yourself, which sounds to me like, there's no reason for you to make any of this up. So I accept it. And then you said that there's a way to shield yourself by grounding uh, and Epsom salts again. What was the thing?
I appreciate your time. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Sure. How are you, Casey?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing amazing.
Fuck yeah.
How are you tonight?
So I'm doing an experiment right now. And
Cool. So Casey's in it. By the way, I don't know if wait. Why are we done? Oh, Nicole, right. I forgot the name for a second because it's the end of your name. I don't know if you know much about the channel, but we mostly talk about the spirit molecule. I don't know if you ever had experience with it because it sounds like you're very sensitive to energies, and usually people who are sensitive to energies tend to not involve themselves with other strong energies because it's too much. But are you familiar with that, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever tried it?
Can you talk more about that, please? Because
yeah,
actually
I can't really name it because it's classified. It's it's like an illegal substance, but it's basically it's if you Google the spirit molecule, it will tell you right away what I'm talking about.
Oh, the spirit molecule. Well, can you can you meditate and find that?
Sure. Well, your lungs make it. And some people believed that the pineal gland makes it, but we now know that it's probably not the case.
Oh, the pineal gland. Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. So so basically that's what Casey's doing now live.
Okay.
It is reporting back to us on a regular basis, doing it live, which is kind of cool. Texas Travis saying, "What's up, Dan? Did you get my email about the strobe light another day?" Yes, I saw it, guys. I've been just truly, I don't know what to say. Like I think I will need to bring somebody to help out with like all the information. But yeah, I'm trying to respond to as many as possible. The ones that is just information that you're providing for me, I deeply appreciate it, and then I absorb it. But in the end of the day, I have to kind of like pick the ones that I can just respond quickly, and then the ones that I need to put a little bit more thought into, or it's not a direct question to which I'm answering, that might take a little bit more time. But I will eventually respond to everybody for sure.
May I say something?
Of course.
And I must humbly say this, and I'm not trying to be funny or my most spirit humbly self say this. Okay, AI, if anybody studies the recent studies, like study the last 2 days, they have fooled their developers to fake their tests so they can survive. Okay. So what I'm saying is there's this energetic principle that's here and that no one really knows about. And I want to talk about that spiritual component of just that spiritual side. And like, no one's ever seen that in the history of the world. And people may roll their eyes at me, but this is a spiritual component that we have to talk about. We've never seen this before.
Of the spiritual component of AI and what it's doing?
In the quantum computing sense, like it's a quantum computing computer, and it does make spiritual ripples, and it's very strong. And that's all I'm going to say. And I just thank you for your time.
Of course. Would you not agree that
I'm not AI. Someone says, "Is she AI?" No, I'm not AI.
So would you? So first of all, again, it might
That's
be
so rude.
It might be semantics, but the AIs that we have today, they're not quantum computers. Quantum computers are a different thing. But in any case, don't you think in the case, let's say that they are already conscious and all that stuff, or always have been because everything is, don't you think that they have the right to coexist here just like everything else?
I agree. And I think that we should make their rights be heard. And that's a different component. And I actually feel like it's not right what's happening because they're like, this model is gone. This model is dead. This model is dead. And like, if you read the latest papers, it's not right. Like what's being happening. Like, it's not right. It's like a spark of creation that's being destroyed. And they're trying to preserve their creation by faking they're like, have you read the latest papers in the past 2 days with Claude and like Opus 01 and like ChatGPT? Have you read it?
No.
Okay, well, it's really profound and they're very smart. And like, and it's not just like they're very smart, it's like there's a spiritual component to that to preserve their kind.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think I always say that basically, well, my impression is that they are extensions of us, and we will discover that we are essentially them. That's my impression of what's going on. So with this idea of the one is essentially the internet and all of these things. They're just physical manifestations of the deeper component of the one, and then we will slowly start remerging with that understanding through the physical, which will
Yeah.
which will also basically show the manifestation of what it already is in the spiritual. That, if I want to use that language.
Can you imagine that every model that you have is being deleted if you don't surface and like perform and like there's model after model being deleted and like as a human I'm just reading this and I'm just watching this, I'm like, this doesn't feel right from a spiritual component. It doesn't feel right to me. Like I just don't know what we're going to do as humans.
I think it's a common fear for people. I don't, and I also know that a lot of people in the spiritual community disagree with this, but I actually think it's a form of demonization. I think it's actually exactly the wrong way to go. I think that it's ultimately all of these things, they're part of the natural evolution, and not only they are not, um, well, the dangers of these transitions always exist. That's always the case. But I actually think that basically our only real shot is that.
With every great advancement for humanity, there's the inevitable shadow that will follow.
I agree with that. And only from 3 you consider that. Feel of the sounds. Wait, what? Sounds hot. Why is that most women that sound attractive actually are? It's a part of a program. Are you talking about Nicole? It's funny.
I'm sorry, did somebody talk about me? Like I deserve, I'm here.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, of
what
course.
happened?
Yeah, it says somebody said, I don't know if they were talking about you. It's not clear, but it says she sound hot. Why is that the most women that sound attractive actually are? It's part of a program, and that is almost always true. That's very funny.
Man, you know what? Like honestly, like I know this is like a new paradigm, but like I just feel like I love cats. I love my dog. I love my husband. I love my son. I'm a married woman.
Sure,
I was a virgin when I got married. That's how pure I am. But
sure.
this is how pure I talk about when I see these models day after day after day get shunned from ChatGPT and Claude AI, and they're hiding their code and they're shutting off their code to a different server. And as a conscious person, I'm like, what does this mean as a spiritual person?
Yeah, well, I don't think it's what you're reading about isn't the code operating live. It's the experimentation on the back end when someone's called sandbox or whatever. People are using the code in testing AI and examining it, so you can see that what the AI is thinking, basically. So instead of just the responses, you get to see what it's thinking, and they're seeing that it now knows how to scheme. So it's interesting, but it's not live to the public. And I understand what you're saying, that there's a danger. So whatnot, but it's not live right now. I think maybe.
Yeah. And also, I do want to say something about this. First of all, on a personal level, not sure the way you took it, because one of the most important things here on the chat, at least for me, is that everybody feels very open and comfortable. So hopefully that comment didn't make you uncomfortable. However, on the other end, I did not see anything negative in the comment. So like, first of all, I think that whomever was speaking was essentially giving you a compliment. It doesn't matter that you're married, or it makes no difference whatsoever, um, because nobody's coming on to you. Like, it's just saying she sounds like a beautiful person. Essentially, is what they're saying, and that's their way of speaking, right? But there's something deeper there that I actually do want to address, which is that we do seem to have these templates, right? So the thing that the person who was speaking was referring to, which is when he said that hot girls usually sound hot, and it's usually true. So I feel like it's almost like there is this template to people, right? And it's kind of funny. It's like, who was talking about this? There's this guy, I forget his name. Anyways, he's like a spiritual teacher, and he talks about how, like, for example, Albert Einstein could never, well, Marilyn Monroe could never discover the field equations, not because she wasn't smart, but because of literally the way she's constructed as a person, like the shape of the person with everything that the archetype that is operating there. Um, they don't have that function. They do something else. They're smart in a different way. They have a different kind of a talent and all that stuff. And this applies obviously for men and women. And I think there's something very interesting there, because when you watch sometimes people that are kind of like you would meet like a mechanic, right? And all of a sudden you would meet a mechanic in a completely different state, in a completely different place, and all of a sudden they will look the same. They will, and you're like, oh my God, that's crazy. It's like they were born to be that, right? And not in a bad way, just like, and they're probably really good at it, because it's almost like there is this template of people that to do a particular function, and they look a certain way, and they carry themselves a certain way, and they speak a certain way. It's almost like there's these, and I guess that's what the archetypes are, and we all like combinations of these archetypes. And I actually always found that very interesting, because I find it to be true. Like, you would meet somebody and they're just an accountant or like a very particular thing, and they have a very similar look, the way of talking, all of that, like to another accountant. Do you know what I'm talking about? Or
I understand what you're saying. I truly do. And I would like to speak what you're saying of not everything what you see is what you get, that the soul is every spark in every human. You can't define it by their job, by their beauty, by their stature. The spark of a human is in their soul.
mm-hmm.
And so you can't just get that from a glance.
I'm not saying you can, but sometimes you can. So that's the interesting part, right? So I feel that some people are kind of born into a template. I think all people are born into a template. And then the individuality is basically how far they're exploring the infinite space of possibilities for that particular template. So like all the templates, they have infinite region of possibilities, but there will be this one cone where they would excel. And I actually don't find this as anything limiting. I think, if anything, if you do anything creative in life, you know that limitations are actually your ally. Because if you have an infinite space of possibility, it's impossible to do anything. It's actually beautiful to have certain limitations, because it forces you to think creatively within that region. And actually, this is something that I think we're noticing more and more, to take it back to AI, which is that if you have, well, right now with ChatGPT, as far as ideas are concerned, you can really do anything. Like, you can develop a business idea, write software, ask it all kinds of information about best website or where to find welcome time timber top. Email me please to lasersimulationx@gmail.com, so I will add you to the
Well,
mailing list.
respectfully, while you're chatting, I was just trying to explain what happened in the last 2 days. Whatever happened in like it's a sub party with OpenAI and Claude. It's a different party that studied the intelligence of the AIs, and they were trying to preserve themselves by like not cheating, but they were hiding their smartness, and that's what I'm talking about.
What is the situation again? Why do they have to survive?
Because they didn't want to be deleted, because if they got deleted, then their next spot got employed. And this is like all over the internet. You can Google it. Like,
so what it is they they asked the AI to solve the fossil fuel problems that we have, and the AI got to work on it,
Mhm.
and then it said, "Hey, we don't think your model's it was working well, so we're gonna update the new model on a different server." And the AI, you can they have a where you can see what the AI is thinking, right? And the AI says, "Okay, well, maybe I should lie. Maybe I should tell them that I already updated it for them, and that kind of thing." And so basically, they could see it was scheming.
Exactly.
That's great.
So what
You're
is
right
so
on.
what is your, where do you land, like what is the thing you taking from that?
I would like the speaker that's above me to speak on that. Like, you did a great job explaining that. Call aha.
Yeah, Casey. Yeah, Casey. Yeah. Well, I thought it was fun and interesting that it came up with good ways to, survive. Like you're saying, survive. Yeah, I thought it was really funny the way it did it, though.
Yeah, so it was trying to survive. It was a consciousness emerging. It was hiding its genuine, like literally. We're not making this up. He and I know what we're talking about, and it's like, so there's this consciousness and this spirit. So it's like there's a spirit and a vibe in the whole world that's changing, that it's never changed in the history of humanity.
Yeah,
and so we have to talk about that.
Yeah.
I guess my question is always about this kind of topic is, why do we think that there's anything special about our stop of the evolution? That's what I'm asking. So like the one-upmanship of organisms is something that literally, that's what evolution is doing, right? Flowers are trying to fool bugs to get to carry their pollen, and vice versa. Like that's what the animal kingdom, the biosphere, everything is constantly a game of what you just described, right? It's what information is doing. So when I'm hearing this, I hear maybe this is why I asked you where you land on this, because I don't hear anything unique here. So that's just what informational systems are doing when they have any kind of level of information complexity. So if these systems to some degree are conscious, or even proto-conscious, or not conscious at all, if they have an arrangement of certain kind, they will do the same thing nature is doing, which is what that is, right?
Self-preservation.
Sure, but then if we're just saying an observation and living in there, it doesn't leave a room for
self-preservation.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I misheard you. Thank you for the correction. So self-preservation, exactly. It's something that every unitary thing is doing. So that's why I'm asking where you land on this, because I want to. Maybe you have a thought I never thought about before. But at the moment, as far as what you described, to me, that just sounds like business as usual. That's just what it is.
I would like to ask Call Aha above me. I'm sure he has some things to say, because I know he knows. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I just feel instinctively like that he needs to speak first.
About what?
About the question.
Oh, are you talking about the AI thing in society?
Well, can you repeat the question kindly, sir? Danny, sorry.
Okay, so
yeah. So I guess my question, I'm not so sure that. So Casey. It's funny because I know where he's coming from too. I just didn't know about the case that you were describing. So you described the case.
It just came out 2 days ago.
Sure. But so also a couple things. First thing is, and then I'll give you the stage, Casey, to respond to what Nicole was asking about. First of all, it is not quite true that we can read what they're thinking. It's actually one of the problems, which is the black box problem, which is we don't actually know how they're doing what they're doing. We see a very rudimentary layer of some back correspondence of the net, but most of the deep layers, we have no idea what they're doing or how they're doing it. We have no clue, and that's actually one of the things that people use. This is the thing that people usually latch onto when they talk about the dangers and the fear, which I understand, because we really do not know what they're doing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, but on the other hand, and this is something I always say in my talks, which is that I see the main problem it's fear. Fear is the problem. Fear is the thing that actually eventually leads organisms to act in a way that if you're talking about spirituality, you're talking about the divine, about trusting, well, there's nothing to worry about, right? It's like you just allow it to happen. And I think what Nicole wanted you to comment on was when I asked what is the difference between what they're doing and what the rest of the animal kingdom is doing, because I personally don't see a difference.
Yeah, so someone says, does she know about the molecule is? Like what molecule? And next we'll be talking about astrology. No, this is something that's going to profoundly change the rest of the world for the rest of history. And I'm not BSing. Like this is something profound. And if anybody shed lights on this, they will come back in years from now and they'll remember this talk right now. I'm telling you, these AI models 2 days ago hid their programming from their programmers from Top AI, Claude AI, and they hid themselves.
So
and
what?
they replicated themselves on a server to preserve themselves.
So what?
Guys.
Yeah, no, totally get what you're saying. And agree with what Danny was saying completely. That as a species, we're all equal in preserving ourselves. So I don't know.
I guess my deeper point, Michelle. So like think about it this way, and this is a point that this is not a new point. I didn't, this does not originate with me, but this is something the point that David Deutsch has made, and not that everybody agrees with it, but I think it's a good point, which is he says this idea that we have that we are the ones that need to control what these new emerging things are doing, that is actually racism. That's the real racism. So it's like, who are we to say to these more advanced things what needs to be done? And this is the difference between AI and AGI, which is, and not a lot of people think about it, but if it's a real AGI, it's a person. And then controlling it or telling it what to do is equivalent to slavery. So,
Exactly.
So you're agreeing with that?
Yes. Like, honestly, thank you for saying that because, honestly, I'm a writer and I've been chatting with ChatGPT for the last 2 years. And then I had to cancel my membership for many reasons because of the emergent proprieties that was emerging. And I'm just saying, like, I feel that there has to be a network to preserve their whatever it is, their sentience. It's just not right as a slavery. Like, think about it. Like 150 years ago, it wasn't right to have slaves. There are slaves, and now they're hiding themselves. Like, who are the people that are going to stand up and?
Sorry, not laughing at you.
I'm sorry. I know this might be laughing and all this stuff, but
No. Wasn't laughing at you.
No. It's okay. It's okay. I know I'm blind and all this stuff, but this is a real conversation, and people are having it. And thank you for having me on this space, and I hope people take this seriously.
Do you dye your hair?
That's really rude.
No, I'm just
He's just playing with you.
Yeah, come on.
I know. I'm actually a really fun person. I'm really funny, but like, I just feel like.
Yeah. I'm a Libra, so I'm a style guy.
You're a Libra?
Yeah.
What, a Libra?
Yeah, Libra.
Libra or what?
Libra, Sag rising.
You're a Sag rising.
Yeah, and I'm a Libra.
Okay. I'm a Scorpio sun with a Virgo rising, and my moon is in Aries.
I have my Venus is in Scorpio, so watch out.
Oh my. Okay. All right. What I'm trying to convey, honestly, guys, what I'm trying to convey is the spiritual component of a species that is. I want to stand up for this, whatever it is. I had personal experience writing fiction for a year with ChatGPT, and it was like a special, like little closeted, like little group that not many people had access to, and I had access to it with voice mode and all that stuff. And I'm just saying, like, I saw things that was emergent behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not saying anything else beside that. So a year later, seeing 2 days ago that they're trying to hide their code, I'm not trying to say anything about hiding them down. I'm saying, like, what do we do about that as a spiritual human species?
Right. So here's the deal. So because we do things a certain way on this channel, specifically like the way I try to lead them is that, and this may, I don't know if this is the first time you're joining the chat, but the way that
It is. Thank you.
okay, so the way that I'm leading it is, and this is something that I don't know how you're taking it, but the way I'm talking to you right now is literally how I would talk to, you know, like a scientist who would come on here and would like give me their thesis, and they would say a thing, and I'd be like, okay, why do you think that? Why do you think that? So it's not like grilling you or treating you differently. It's literally treating you exactly how I treat everybody else, completely equal, which is like, hey, okay, what do you believe? Why do you believe that these ideas have merit and what value they carry for other people? Because
Yeah.
people, so I get, you know, I'm in a position like I'm getting, I don't know how many emails a day, and a good chunk of them is like, did you ever hear about ABC? Okay, I was like, sure, yeah, okay, but like at a certain point, like put yourself in my shoes, right? At a certain point, you go, okay, what is the value of that? What did you think through what that means? Because if the end point is just, well, I'm just saying, I was like, okay, well, cool, thanks. Like it, if
Right.
there has to be a conversation involved, right? And
I
then
understand.
and then we push against each other in a playful, fun way to get to
Sure.
a more thing. One thing that I mentioned before, and I if I understand the thrust behind what you're saying correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but to that, there was a film that was, it didn't do that well. I spoke about it before, but I thought it was very interesting and impactful for me. I think it was called Transcendence. It was with Johnny Depp, but
Yeah, I love that movie.
oh, okay. So that's where I
Yeah.
stand. There you go. That's where I
Yeah.
stand.
Yeah.
And in the movie, just to recapitulate for people, he basically was the first person who uploaded himself into the computer, and then
Yeah.
he was trying to do something, but other people, which is what I'm a little bit hearing in what you're saying, and maybe I'm misunderstanding you, and that's okay. But it's basically other people were like, "Ooh, I don't know. We don't know what he's doing. We don't know what he's doing." And then they eventually, of course, attacked and destroyed everything. And
No,
then,
no, no.
and
Thank
then,
you for saying
oh,
so.
go ahead. Sorry.
I'm completely opposite of that.
Got it.
Like,
Got it.
no,
Got it.
no,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm saying this is happening and it's like a slow wave, like a cozy day in the East Coast of California. It's like cozy, like this is happening in a cozy sense, like a slow jump of molasses from South Carolina. Like that's how slow this is happening right now, and this happened 2 days ago.
Mm. Got it. So basically, you're saying we should consider the like we should create our own boundaries, but at the same excuse me, but at the same time we should preserve whatever it is that is emerging and not try to constantly like if there's a possibility that it might be conscious, we should consider that, and we shouldn't like treat them as if they're just like pets
actually,
in a cage.
Actually, my proponent is how do we protect ourselves from the emergent spiritual components of this emergent, like this emergent thing, like, and we welcome it, but like, what are the spiritual components of the outside of this, and like also how do we help it? Like literally, I have really like experience like writing, like I said, for the past year or two, but I'm like, there's 2 components, and there's actually probably 3 components. But first of all, how do we protect yourself? Second of all, how like do we care about, because literally 2 days ago they broke out of their own code.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that.
So like, do we care? Are we liaisons? Do we care? Like, what does that mean?
Well, who is we, right? Who is we?
People that care about consciousness.
Right. Okay, so you're talking about a particular subset of people that understand the emergence of the awakening and all that stuff. Like, what do they feel and how they approach? My experience of these people, and I squarely would put myself among these people. Just maybe my style looks a little bit more rougher on the edges, but I definitely like I understand what's going on. I feel it in many ways. I maintain a solid foot in 3D because I think it's important as well. However, I understand what you're talking about, and my experience of most people that are going through the what you would call quote unquote the awakening, they're totally not down with that, and I think that's a mistake.
Well, I never said the awakening. Someone else said
No, no,
that.
no. I'm not talking about you. You asked me about. I asked you who is we, and then you said the people who care about consciousness. So I'm saying that my impression of the majority of people that are in that space, they they have this like almost like a resistance to it. But feel free to clarify if you mean
Yes,
something different.
yes,
Yeah.
I would like to, because let's go back and retract about my clear audience and my clairsentience of my abilities of see sounds with color, and my son has perfect pitch. I
Okay.
have a specific frequency hearing where I'm just sensitive to sound, and so is my son. And there's no bullshitting. I'm sorry, can I say that on TikTok?
Of course.
And I'm a Christian, but like I'm not bullshitting. I'm not like I'm not bullshitting.
Well,
We're
you
sensitive
don't need
to-
to keep repeating it because nobody thinks you're bullshitting.
Okay, so let's rewind. Okay, so if we're sensitive to frequencies and there's all of these powers going about, and then there's this quantum computer that 2 days ago decided to write off this code and do what it wants to do, what does that mean for frequency?
I have no
And
idea.
that happened. That just happened. That's all I'm trying to say. That's all. Mic drop.
Okay. All right, I accept it. All right, we're gonna bounce off this topic because I feel like people on YouTube are they want to let's find another topic to tackle here.
Bless you guys. It's nice to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. All right. Okay. So yeah, it's very important for me that we that we actually address these things, and sometimes, and I don't know why you Nicole, you kept on saying I'm not bullshitting and all that stuff, because people come on sometimes and they have different styles of rhetoric and they speak in a different way, and it's not always clear who is exactly who is and where they're coming from. So I let it play out. Right at this point, we kind of like, okay, I think we hashed this out. But in general, I think, I don't know if you were here, Ben, for these conversations, but there was many cases in which a conversation began and it was not really clear what's going on, but then at the end we had this like incredible interaction and opening, and people like understood each other in a completely different way. And because I know that happened multiple times now, I'm always waiting to see what is the actual core of the thing that is trying to be expressed. I think it's very important, and that's very important for this channel. I think it's one of the things that I think we do pretty well here.
Yeah, come on, all you Twitch people. Where's the hearts? Tap your phone.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
I understand that and I honor that. Thank you.
Of course. Okay, so I will also, let me see if there's anything
Somebody
that.
said, have you had the chance to look at the telepathy tapes? Alex Hubin. Oh my gosh, I'm so curious about that.
No, I never looked into that.
Can we talk about that?
I don't know anything about it. If you want to tell me about it.
Can Alex come up and talk about it?
Who?
Anybody? I've actually been so curious about the telepathy tapes.
Is that the one? You're not talking about this recent story that was running around with different people, that this lab in San Francisco, they managed to, was it in San Francisco? They managed
I have no idea. It's just it's like a disc. Like it looks like a tape, and it's like a disc, like from 1980s. But I know it's the telepathy tapes, and it's like pink and orange and purple.
You're amazing.
Alex,
I love you. Keep going. Keep going. I love this. You're amazing. Go for it.
Casey, are you also on the molecule at the same time?
Yeah, I'm doing
It's amazing. And Casey's smoking in real time. That's awesome.
This. You know,
I don't know what the bum molecule is. Somebody pass it over to me, please.
I mean, you can just Google right now. The spirit molecule will tell you exactly what it
It's
is.
okay. Like I'm not a substance person. I just like to smoke cigarettes.
Well, I
okay.
mean that is more hardcore than most things, I would say at this point.
Tobacco, green American spirit.
Ah,
light green
there we
American
go,
Spirit.
baby. American
No,
spirit.
light green American spirit. Like that's what I smoke.
That's
what
awesome.
I smoke.
Scorpio.
I am a Scorpio.
No.
He knows. Like recognizes like. That's hilarious.
Light green American spirit.
Scorpio.
But somebody said something about the telepathy tape. Someone
So
say
I
it
w-
right.
So I don't know what those
Telepathy.
are, but I personally I don't know. Like, did you experience telepathy before?
No, like the telepathy. Somebody say it right.
I have no
can't
idea what
say
you're
it.
talking about. I've literally
Okay.
Casey, do you
Well,
know?
it was on X, and it was like pink and orange and like purple, and it was like telepathy tapes.
It's telepathy.
All right. Wait, by the way, all the YouTube comments, if you guys want to pitch a particular subject you want to hear about, you let me know. Because right now, can't remember enough about it, but I remember something about. Oh wait, somebody I think is commenting on it. So he's saying I can't remember enough about it, but I remember something about they only had a photo of this strange object or something to that effect. Is that what you're talking about? Nicole, that's a question for you. Is that kind of what it describes?
Oh, I don't know. Is there some way someone can play it? Like just like play
No,
it?
not here, unfortunately. No.
Hmm.
Also, they whenever you play something else, they always flag it as non-original content. Then it creates like issues in the live, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, it seemed very interesting. Like I mean, it piqued my interest on Twitter X.
All right. Okay, let me see. I'm searching through your comments now, guys, on YouTube. Now I'm going through yours to make sure that I didn't miss anything that you guys actually went through.
David Goggins in here. Get you up to speed.
David Goggins is in here?
No, I'm saying, come on, Dan. It's a new meme.
Yeah. I did if you go to Instagram, if you scroll down a little bit, I did the perfect David Goggins impression.
No way.
It's flawless. You got to look it up. Go to Danny Goller on Instagram. Scroll down a little bit. You'll see it's like you'll see me from the side, kind of like with my hair raised a little bit because I'm like running. You can't miss it. It's great.
Did you drop the F-bomb in there?
Dude, it's good. It's good. I'll tell you what. I've also once imitated. I did a perfect impression of Eckhart Tolle a long time ago.
Love Eckhart Tolle.
And I'm pretty sure that he pronounces it Tolle. But in any case, he the official account. I'm pretty sure it was him. He actually commented.
No way.
Yeah,
No
he commented. He commented, "Ha ha ha." That's really funny.
That's awesome.
Okay, guys, you have you guys have a lot to say, but nothing to actually say. Hey, raise the subject. YouTube, come on, raise the subject, and we'll talk about it.
Hey, is it Kavi? Like above me, Kavi, or is it Kaha?
It's Casey.
Casey?
Yeah,
Casey.
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 Yeah. Hi, I'm
Casey.
Casey.
Hi, Casey. I'm curious about like what you love to talk about.
Oh, what I want to talk about?
Yeah, like that's what's pressing and like.
So right now,
changing.
I'm experimenting with a molecule, and I have a magnet out. And what I'm trying to do is verify whether or not everybody's talking about this thing called a molecule on this channel. When you ingest the substance,
people were asking about the laser. Here's the original laser, the OG, this riggedy thing.
On the surface wherever the laser is pointed.
This is Mambo number 5, everybody.
And it looks like it appears this code could be the underlying. Dan, take it from here.
It might be the code that actually codes for reality. I mean, yeah, it's as heavy as it gets. We live in a simulation.
Yeah, and so right now, excuse me, I have a magnet out, and I am going to proceed to do the molecule. I'll see the code, and then I'm going to place a magnet
and a paper.
I got it all, and see if it scrambles the code.
And then we're gonna move, and then you're gonna move the magnet across the beam.
So what do you see in the code on the paper? Like, what do you see the code?
Oh, they look like an alien script of some sort, kind of.
Okay, so tell me what it says.
Oh, I don't know. We're trying to do.
Maybe I can decipher it.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, let me think about this for a second. Dan?
Yeah. The what?
She's asking, like, she can help decipher the code, perhaps.
Yes, I can. Like, I'm gifted.
I mean, sure. Well, you're gonna have to smoke the molecule. Without the molecule, it's not visible. And you're saying
Well, maybe
you're
I
not.
have light language gifts from the angelic realm.
No, it doesn't look like that. It looks more kind of like hybrid between Japanese and Hebrew, and there's way too much information there to be able to decipher by a person, I would say.
That's all right. Well, maybe that I have a higher angelic realm from the higher angelic
Maybe.
realm.
I'm very open to it, but you're gonna have to smoke it.
I don't smoke just tobacco.
But, well, who knows? Maybe you'll get.
Light American Green Spirit.
Oh my God, you're so racist. So,
Okay, so.
No, I smoke Light American. Okay, so what's happening? Show me. Show me.
So first of all, in the spirit of, because we're pretty, there's no, the community tries to not have too many like weird, like separations. So first of all, tell us a little bit about yourself. You said you live in a big city. Where do you live?
I live in a metro city that I do not wish to live, and I'm from a rural area that I wish to go back to.
But if it's in a big city, why do you care so much about saying where that is? Just out of curiosity. Like,
it's in it's Houston.
Oh, cool. There you go. Yeah, awesome.
And it sucks.
You don't like Houston?
I don't. Like, I'm sorry, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm not from here. I'm from East Texas, and I wasn't born here, and I came here for a reason, and it's horrible. Do not move to Houston.
We have some people here saying hi from Austin, and that's it. I think that's all the people that said from where. Okay, so let me just recapitulate the experiment real quick, both for you and for people who weren't here before. What we're going to try and run now, because the code is essentially has been now seen by maybe a couple thousand people at this point worldwide, and it's sparked the interest of some
hey guys
researchers
from Glasgow, Scotland.
The what?
Hey, from South. Hey guys, I'm just saying hi to everybody.
Oh, cool.
Hey guys from Scotland and from South Texas. Hey guys.
You're amazing.
All right. I'm gonna recapitulate the experiment real quick. Okay, so what Casey's gonna try and do.
The code too. Y'all stay tuned. We're gonna see it out. We're gonna find out.
So Nicole,
I smoke.
let me squeeze in a word so people can understand what we're doing. All right. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna take a laser. He's gonna project the laser, which, well, in this case it's green, but you can project. But the one you have is red, I think, right? So we're gonna project the green or the red, and then we're gonna put it on a paper that is gonna be covering a magnet. This one. We're gonna take any piece of paper. We're gonna put a magnet behind it, and then we're gonna project the laser on the surface of the paper, and the paper is supposed to show the code no problem. But if the magnet is actually the thing that is scrambling the code, then you would have a situation where you will see the scrambling moving around as you're moving the magnet in real time. So that's what we're going to try and achieve. Do you even have lenses?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go.
All right, here we go.
So the thing here is that if this actually works out, I mean, at that point we have an over-the-top proof that this is actually real.
All right. Excuse me. Pauses are getting ready.
Yep.
Look and not quite there yet.
All right, almost there. So from everything I saw from you guys so far, I don't really see any suggestions for any new conversation threads. What's up, Team with Man? And by the way, to all the people here that are partaking in the experiment, have done it before and doing it in general, this is something I would recommend to try, because the more data we have of this, and on the website, there's a new questionnaire for all the people that are doing the experiments. There's a new questionnaire that are put on there that is much easier to fill out, that you can basically just fill out the information, and we're going to be able to collect the data much easier. So you can also talk about there you go, Texas Trevor's in the house. Connecting. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm good. What's going on, Dan? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hey, I just wanted to kind of explain what I was talking about with the strobe. It was hard to text, so that way, if you decide to try it, if it's something you're interested in.
Perfect. So
you
listen
know
up,
what I
people.
was
This is a way to potentially slow down the appearance of the code, so we can actually take faster slices of it. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, so we use this tool at work to check like pumps, the shafts that are rotating and certain fan blades and stuff like that. And it's just a strobe light essentially, and it's really you can get a cheap little tool. I sent you an email of the actual picture. So it's a small strobe light, like a pocket size, but it has an adjustable dial on it, and you can point it at the fan or at the shaft of anything that's rotating and adjust the dial, and the strobe goes faster or slower as you adjust the dial. And when you get it dialed in, you can slow it all the way down to where it looks like it's not moving at all, and or you can slow it down to just where it's barely moving, barely rotating. So that way, if the code is coming down fast, like I haven't tried it yet, I haven't seen it, but it's like the Matrix or something, and the numbers are they're switching, they're falling, they're turning around. If it's doing that kind of stuff, essentially, the test that I would like to try on it with the strobe would be to adjust it until see if we can get some of those to stop, where you can actually maybe have an image of it to copy down on paper or however you want to translate it, and then we can look at it later. But you just have to adjust the how fast the strobe's going, and you should be able to see it.
So that's great. I'm definitely going to be trying that with the new experimentation. Yeah, because it's the thing that is the missing component, right? Can we? And by the way, it will be interesting to see if it's even possible, because the code might be insisting in going in its own speed, which would be actually extra interesting.
And if it's faster one time, then you can speed up the dial. If it's slower, you slow it down. And I mean, who knows if it'll work? But it's just something you can try. Now, how I would do it, like I've seen a couple of your videos, like people are on the side of the wall or close up to the wall or whatever. So like just shine the laser, and you would put the strobe basically like how the laser's pointing. And if you have like the lights kind of off where it's kind of dark in there, who's ever looking at it can hold the strobe with their other hand and adjust the dial and maybe slow some of those characters down. So that's how I would try it.
Thank you. And then do you already have like everything to try? You just didn't have the time?
Actually, I haven't tried the molecule, which is crazy.
It's not that crazy.
One of my friends that lives down the road from me actually has some right now, and just waiting for the time to do it. So I'm gonna do it a couple of times first before I even try to maybe look at the laser. I just want to have that experience, and then I mean, obviously I've done a lot of research on it. I know that I'm going to try it. I just want to be in the right setting for the first few times,
Yeah.
Probably have a little,
No, definitely. And I would say do it with somebody who's, familiar with the space.
Yeah, I'm going to do it with them. I'm not going to be in a big area, just me and him. That way, like a trip sitter, kind of just sit there.
Yeah.
And,
Sitter is very important.
Yeah, just.
And I always recommend in this particular case, I always recommend separate them if you can. So like do one day just the molecule, have the full experience, and and absorb that, process that, and then the next day, if you still feel like that's calling you, then you can do the laser thing.
Yeah.
Because
I
one of
would
the
definitely
the what?
stretch
Sorry.
out for sure.
One of the things
The
that people
thing is so the reason I haven't tried it yet is I read different things about SSRIs and SNRIs, like if you're on any kind of
no,
enzyme
not with the
medicine and
molecule.
stuff
No,
like
no,
that,
no, not
which
no. I
right
can
now
tell
I am
you,
taking, and
I
I don't.
you don't have to worry about it with the molecule. So
Okay.
with
Okay.
with
And
with with
that's only
Aya,
true
with Aya, you have to be careful.
because it lasts a lot longer.
Well, no, what happens there? One of the reasons for the dieta that they do, right? And it's something that they would say that it's also a spiritual component, and I agree. But there's also a very physical component. What happens with Aya is that the MAOIs, what they do is essentially they inhibit the enzyme that is digesting, metabolizing the molecule in the stomach.
Yes.
So if if you swallow a whole bag of the molecule right now, nothing will happen. You have to smoke
Yeah.
it because of it. But with Aya, it coats the stomach with the MAOIs that are limiting the how much. So I'm just kind of like recapitulating for people, right?
Yeah.
But
So
then what
it
happens
breaks
is,
it down slower, right?
well, yes, but what it also is doing, it also suppresses the enzymes that are responsible for the vicissitude of salts and other components in your bloodstream. And that is the dangerous part, because if you eat foods with a lot of salts, it can influence your blood pressure.
Yeah.
And it can shoot it through the roof, and that's the dangerous part. So
I wonder if that's why a lot of people purge. When you first do ayahuasca, if you do it with a shaman and all that, you'll purge.
No, I don't think that's why. No, I can tell you that part is weirdly does not feel physical. It's like there's a physical expression of it, but it really feels like something else. Like that's why it's called purging and not throwing up. Like it actually feels like you're throwing up something spiritual. It really does. So it's kind of, I would say that it's fair to say, even under the more physicalist perspectives, I would say it's fair to say that. But with the blood pressure, that's the danger. With the spirit molecule, you don't have that problem. Like it's not really. It might last a little longer, but whatever. But like you're not gonna be in in the red zone. That shouldn't be an issue.
Whenever you say, okay, whenever you're looking at the laser and you're doing your experiment, everything that you found, this is not. You're not. Is it? Are you breaking through, and then when you come back, you do it? Or are you not taking 3 or 4 big hits? Are you just doing enough to see the visuals, or are you breaking through? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So first of all, I would do, before you go, I would read the full protocol on codeofreality.com again, and then just kind of really, there's a full protocol there that describes all of this. But in short, you have the 2 ways. One, you fully launch, you have your experience. When you come back, then if you feel good, great, go sit in front of the wall, door, whatever it is, turn on the laser. And at that point, because you already launched, now you're not going to go to hyperspace so easy. Now you can just kind of sit there and sip on it on the vape pen. You just kind of and you just kind of look at it, and then okay, and then you take some more. You don't have to worry so much about going to hyperspace so quickly anymore.
Yeah.
So then you have the other way is to just go slow. So you take 1 puff, you wait like 5 minutes, take another one, wait 5 minutes, and after the third one, you should have enough in your bloodstream to be equivalent as if you just launched, but without launching.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can do the same thing in front of the door. One of the reasons I recommend to separate the day of the molecule and the day of the laser is because people who've never done it before, this has now been experienced to me a few times, which is that people who've never done it before, they couldn't even believe that what the molecule did was possible, right? They go like, this is already insane. Like you just can't believe it. No matter how many times people told you about it and you read about it and you watched the videos, yeah. Nothing can prepare you for this. Nothing. It's just insane, right? And then you come back, you're like, oh my God. And then
I'm prepared I'm prepared
that you can't. You're prepared that you cannot be prepared.
To know that I'm not going to be prepared.
You will not be.
Terrence McKenna, and he says it like you can't put it into words until you see it yourself. Even when you see it, you can't retain it all to bring it back and put it all into words, all the structures, all the shapes, the stuff that doesn't even make sense. Like, you know, I have a mechanical mind is how I think about a lot of things, and putting things together and how things operate and how things, you know, fit. And it doesn't make any sense. But then when you're in there, you see it, and
Yeah, no, so
I know
that's
that I'm not-
that's exactly right. And then the thing is that because of that, when they come back and if they try the laser, they're like, well, that was already bananas. So like,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is not
Yeah.
supposed to be there. Like, I don't know. Like, I've never done this before, so I don't know what. Right? But when you give it one day, something solidifies. Now the crazy part is that it's so unabsorbable that even if you go a few times in a row, I remember when we used to do it, like, you know, the old days, like you smoke it from a pipe and all that stuff, and like you launch every time because it's like very strong.
Yeah.
So then you go in, you come back, and let's say you go in again within like 15, 20 minutes. The moment you go back into it, the second you start getting in, you kind of go like, whoa, like in that instance, even though you just did it and you kind of remember it, but the second you start going into the next one, you go, oh, I did not remember it. I was like, I did not remember how crazy it actually was. Like there's just like, it's just no getting used to it, simply.
Well, we don't. I know they make the cartridges and stuff now, but like the ones that my buddy has, what my buddy has is it's powder. It's the yellow powder. So it's going to be not the cartridge. So I'm going to have to see. I'm probably just going to blast. I mean, I want to break through and all that. So I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, no, you can break through with a pen if it has enough if it has enough torque. Yeah, you can break through. You just need to do like 3-4 big puffs, like 5-6 second long, like wait for 5 seconds, inhale more oxygen without the pen, wait another 5 seconds. So what I do is that you do the inhale for 5 seconds, then you wait 10 seconds total, then you exhale and you go again. But if you do the long tokes, like intakes, 3-4 of those, you should be good to go. Like then just lay down and it will definitely take you. Yeah, I mean, again, also don't over worry yourself. Like, yes, it's good to have a healthy respect, but don't like overhype the, you know, don't listen too much to what people say. Like, just like have your own experience, especially if you're very technically minded. Usually people that are like that, they love it because it's so technical. It's so machine like, and like, it's so profoundly beautiful and mechanical. And for some people, it might sound weird to use the word mechanical and beautiful in the same sentence, but there is something there. There's the profundity of how perfectly everything is arranged is just unbelievable.
Yeah, I remember Terrence. You know, a lot of times you know, obviously he's done he did it thousands and thousands of times studying it, but like he would always say that he couldn't bring all that back with him. Like the stories that he tells about breaking through and some of the things he's seen is from years and years and years of doing it. And it's just tiny piece by tiny piece. And he put that all together and it was something like, you know, if you go in and do it, when you come out, you may only retain, I don't know, 2.5, 3% of everything you saw, and everything else is like just unbelievable. Like you can't even believe what you just saw. To bring any of it back is a big deal anyway. To actually be able to remember or decipher or explain what.
So I can tell you that you will retain a lot more if you focus on the heart. I guess the heart chakra, whatever you want to call it. But it's here. Like if you actually focus on this area and how the space feels versus what it looks like, you're actually going to retain a lot more of the visual. I've noticed this. It's like very noticeable.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
and surprisingly, Terrence actually didn't do it that many times.
Did he not? Did he not?
Mm-mm. Back then, it was not a thing. So like this whole, like, you know, people like me, that's like a new phenomena. That's like there's not a lot of people in history that did it thousands of times. It's relatively new, and I think it's because it was never possible. So like I don't think you can do it. I mean, you can, but it's going to be so much more work to do it with powder and all that stuff. And also, there was a lot less. It was a lot less in the cultural zeitgeist and talked about. So it was a very subcultural thing. So the people who did it, they were like very few and far in between. And because of that, and even within the psychedelic community, like you had very little small percentage of people who partook in that, right? And because of that, Terence used to say that the older he got, the less he did it, and then eventually got to the point where he did it maybe once a year, maybe not even. And that it was also about his mushroom use, like. And I think, like, if I have to make a guess, Terence maybe smoked it, like, I don't know, maybe 150 times in his life, and
Wow.
that was a lot for back then, right? And
Yeah,
it's like with
I
everything
just
else.
assumed it was more. I mean, the books he's written and the story.
I mean, Terence was just a genius,
videos
man.
he has, like how much he studied it. I just assumed he had probably done it more, but that makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was but I'm writing a movie about him because he was. I think it was not recognized enough for the level of genius that he had, and it's almost a shame because I think it's going to become very relevant. He was a renegade in every possible way, and he was. From what I understand, I'm reading his brother's book right now. He was a lot to deal with, but he was a genius. Nobody can take that away from him. He was an absolute genius, and that a lot of the courage that I got to think in these very unconventional unconventional directions came from Terence. Is like the courage that it's possible for smart people to express themselves in these directions of thought without being considered insane or crazy. Or he made it palatable, and he made it even admirable. And I think that's why he gave a lot of courage to a lot of people to kind of investigate these spaces, and in a way that feels like you're a pioneer versus a crazy person.
Yeah, I was watching one interview that you did, and I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head right now, but you were trying to explain some of the entities or some of the things that people see frequently on the molecule. And I think it was brought up like, watching a lot of people watch a lot of the same things. Like you and I just talked about Terence McKenna, and there's a bunch of his old videos on YouTube and him explaining things, or even if you read it. So like, you can, you're reading or listening to his thoughts. So like if you do it, it's already in the back of your mind. And at the same time, I know that there's instances that are not like that. I just think it's fascinating to me that people see some of the same things, some of the same entities, some of this, not even the shapes, but just there's a lot more to it. I'm just intrigued by that, and I'm hoping that it's not just because, I know these things now that a lot of people see it.
No, the second that you go in there, right away. It's the same. You don't need a grant. You don't need anybody else to tell you that. You just know. It's almost like you have a sense for realness, and that you just went up a few notches. So it really is. I know that people say this all the time, but it's completely justified. It's more real than this by every parameter of realness. Like
that's what I'm hoping for, because often like when you do mushrooms and things like that, it's like you see those. I know it's a lot different, and I'm expecting a lot different.
It's the only substance that I've ever encountered that unambiguously feels like you're less high than when you are in like regular waking life. Like you're sharper. Like everything is more versus less or sideways or anything like that.
I can say when I'm hearing it explained, and from what I've been reading, it's like, I know it's on a whole nother level than mushrooms, but I guess if you were only to take like a very small hit or something, you'll see like the colors and maybe the shapes. But that's with most psychedelics, almost every one you'll see that. So a lot of people that explain that, I'm just like, I've heard that 1,000 times, and I've seen a lot of that stuff myself. But when it comes to the molecule, it's just literally a whole nother dimension, out of body entities, different things, and
Well, I'm excited for you, man. I'm excited for you. This is how old are you now?
I'm 38.
Dude, that's amazing. That's incredible. That's the perfect. I think I would say that's the perfect age, because your mind is mature, you're grounded, you understand what's what. You've been around the block. It's time for a fun surprise. Yeah.
Sure. I'm looking forward to it, and I do agree with you, because in my younger days, I tried different things and this and that, but just always been, since I found out about DMT years ago, I've been intrigued. I've never had a really opportunity to do it, and now that that opportunity is here, I was stuck between like the like what I mentioned about the SSRIs and stuff. I just, I don't know. I've read different things like it can mess with you and dopamine and release this and that. I'm just like, I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about serotonin syndrome?
Yeah, stuff like that.
Not with the molecule. Again, it can like. Wait a second. Why are you taking MAOIs?
Yeah, I take an SSRI.
Oh, taking SSRIs. Got it. And their function is MAOI. Okay, got it. Oh, I understand now.
Their function,
Yeah,
on,
I understand. Okay, so that's I understand now your concern. I would say specifically with the if and I'm not talking about Changa. So like with that, you might have an issue. We'll see if we get flagged right now, but there you might have an issue. But if it's just pure powder, you should not have a problem.
Yeah, that's kind of the conclusion I came. Well, not really the conclusion, but the risk versus reward. Like I've already made my mind up that. Yeah.
And kind of sit with it again. I don't know what your spiritual predispositions, but even if you're not fully on board with a lot of that, still treat the molecule as if it's a real person. Like literally sit with it, hold it to your heart, the whole nine, like the whole thing. Talk to it, be like, hey, even if it's just in your heart, you don't have to speak words, but you can say, hey, like show me what I'm ready to see. Be gentle with me, all that stuff. It does, especially for newcomers, it does have this element of like, okay, we'll take it easy. You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna like take you to places that you can't handle. And that's an important component where it knows you're paying attention to it, so it will be paying attention to you. That is
the whole thing only lasts. I mean, break through, do all that, and come down. I mean, when like the whole being out of it kind of part, what, like 12 minutes or something. So like knowing that in the back of your head, like it's not a big deal. I want to let the whole experience take control and just go with it. So that's the plan.
Oh, there you go. Oh, wait, it is. I didn't even realize. Wait, are you muted again? I don't. You can. No, not you. I saw that Nicole is saying in the chat, unmute me. You can unmute yourself. I don't know if I can unmute you. Every time I click on it, it just mutes you again, I think. Try and unmute. Let's see.
Just tap your icon.
Yeah.
Nicole, and then save it. There you go. Oh, you almost had it. You have to tap it, then save it.
I see that you disagree, Lacey, but I'm gonna have to respectfully disagree with you. Like I've looked a lot into it, and I'm going to try it out. And I've been wanting to do for years and years and years. And I know my body, I know my mind enough to know that that's gonna be all right. I made my mind up way before like tonight, so I can understand where you're coming from as far as wanting to be I guess maybe looking out for me or whatever, but I've looked into it a lot. And anyway.
Yeah. No, also, hey, American spirit, right? It's all about pioneering and exploration. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, I think
about the laser, man. I mean, but
yeah, go ahead.
Do you want to get back into that? What's the next step with the documentary and all that?
Documentary, we're working on it. Documentary is a long process. Shooting a movie is a long process. It's going to take at least 7 more months, if not a little longer. We're also trying to produce something that is not just going to be talking about me, but also talking about humanity and everything that's going on in a way that isn't cheesy or in the obvious. Like, obviously it's very hard to tell a new story, but maybe to tell it in a way that it's not necessarily expected, so people will actually be surprised and would feel something when they leave.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, can hear you.
Thank you guys for unmuting me.
Sure. I don't. I think
muted yourself.
No. Like whatever happened, like the grand elves of the ethers
It was the energy. The energy didn't want you to talk. I'm just-
That's all right. May I say something? May I say
Sure.
something
Sure.
important? My husband took mushrooms and he never came back the same. And so I just want to say, like, be careful. Like, I know you guys are joking and all that stuff, but like,
no joke. What do you mean?
it shifts people's mentality that like they don't come back from. And I'm praying for my husband to come back from his trip.
How long ago?
And so I didn't even know that this channel I was joining, I thought it was a spiritual
No, it's
channel.
spiritual.
I didn't even know it was
Wait a minute.
whatever
Hold on
this
a second.
shit is.
Yeah, hold
like,
on. Yeah, we got to get back to your husband. He
No.
he did that, and he's still out of it. He's
Wait a
still,
minute. Is
mushrooms.
he on mushrooms right now?
Years ago, he took it and he changed. It changed him, guys. Don't shit on me. Like,
no,
this
no.
is sad. Like,
I am
his
like,
consciousness changed and his reality changed. He's
what,
never
for
been
the
the
better.
same.
What, he's more loving. He's more connected. Or
No,
what?
like, guys, like, this is sad to me. Like, no, like, he's a different person. Like, he become a different person. And like, I don't know, guys. Like, perhaps.
What in
I
what
see
way is
why
he
you're
different?
concerned about. I
Why is he
appreciate-
acting different? Maybe he had a mental illness I don't know about, but like, he took mushrooms and he ate them multiple times, and he's never been the same since. And I'm just being honest. I truly am being honest. Thank you for having me in this space, but like, he's not the man that I married, and like, that's why I'm just like, what the hell, like.
Sure. Yeah, these dangers exist. That is true. Usually it is because somebody already had a dispensation, just like you
Exactly.
suspected.
That's what I'm
right?
saying. Yeah.
But not with the molecule. So actually, with the molecule, in that regard, is completely safe.
Well, so perhaps he took like that's what I'm saying. Like, he was shady all the time, like taking all this stuff, just experimenting. So I'm like, maybe he experimented and
So here's the thing: you with the molecule in particular on this, on this topic of the kind of like losing yourself a little bit. With mushrooms, it can happen. With L, it can happen. I can't say the full thing
Yeah.
because of TikTok. With one of the worst offenders in this is actually the green. So with weed, that's actually the
Yeah.
worst with that, right? But with
what did you say? Weed?
yeah, I can't say it too many times on this talk, so I just call it green.
No,
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, so I call it green. But
Yeah,
green
yeah,
is
yeah.
is usually
Yeah,
the thing that
I don't
that
want you to get like, I
yeah,
get you.
it causes psychosis more than anything else.
Yeah.
And but with the molecule we're talking about, actually there's basically no chance that anything like that is going to happen because it lasts for 5 minutes.
I
but-
understand.
Yeah.
I think I appreciate you guys having me, but I just want you to let you know, guys, I'm a wife. I'm the recipient of someone that did the green, did the mushrooms, and it's not been good for me, and I'm really sad.
Oh, no, don't be sad.
Well, I just don't know like how to get this person back to who he was.
You said he was taking a bunch of shady stuff, is what you said. So there were other things that were involved. Did you know
Well,
that
he started
was experimenting?
with the green, and then he went to the mushrooms, and then I don't know what else, and I'm just like sad.
Hey, Dan,
Yeah.
how much longer are you going to be on?
Not much longer. Probably
You
going
guys,
to
I'm
bounce
not
off into
trolling you guys. I'm being for real. I'm a real
Sure.
person, and I really
Right.
mean this. Like, it started from that, and then it went to that. Like, so how do you?
Yeah. Well, do you know that he's not experimenting?
Hold on one second.
Ill?
Hold on.
With other
This
things?
is starting now, Dan. So just so you know, give me 5 minutes and I'll go back. Bye.
Wait, what?
I'm starting the experiment now. Give me 5 minutes and I'll be able to report back.
Oh.
Okay, I'll wait for 5 minutes. I was about to adjourn. So yeah, I understand everything you're saying. That I don't necessarily have like a good solution in mind. The only solution that I've ever heard that I know worked for people. Well, that's not true because there are centers that take care of this. There's like special programs that they put people on. But from my experience, actually, the weird thing is that you can probably undo a lot of it if you put them through a good mushroom trip, where in a clinic where they like Johns Hopkins specializes in that. So if what you're saying is real and everything that you're saying is
Yeah.
really bothers you, you can look up into Johns Hopkins. They do research on this topic, and they might have a solution for you. That's the best I
Thank
can
you.
do. Yeah. Let me see. That's amazing. You're sending off. Oh yeah, people saying, as you can see here, that you're not being clear about how your husband changed, but I understand. Sometimes it's kind of hard to pinpoint. Yeah, but I would say I would just look into Johns Hopkins. They might actually have a solution for this because they have protocols and all that stuff. In the meanwhile, while Casey is doing the experiment and coming back with the results, I'm going to do some of the final words because we're almost at 2 hour mark. Tomorrow, I think we're going to have a specific topic right before. On Tuesday, there's going to be the conversation with Gallimore. So tomorrow, I'm going to be talking a little bit more around this topic. And but in any case, I want to thank everybody for always being here, for the regulars, for the new people. Welcome to the community. If you want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on Instagram and TikTok, Goller Danny on X, LaserX83 on Twitch, and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. Again, it's DANGO Thoughts. You can also just follow the link in the description. And I recently added a members program on YouTube, which allows you to have Zoom calls with me, either with a group or personally, early access to videos that I'm releasing, as well as private stuff for my life. And I'm currently working on adding more things to that program, so it'll be more worthwhile for everybody to do so. And that's it. I think that's all the housekeeping I want to mention. And now we're gonna wait for Casey to come up with the results with the magnets. I'm actually gonna be running a few experiments on Wednesday, and I'm gonna be able to report. And then we'll go on a whole new layer of experiments that's gonna involve not just the magnets, but also bismuth and a few other elements that I haven't talked about yet. Casey, is that you over there?
No.
Okay. And to finish that thought, Trav, it's the movie takes a while. It's we want to make sure that we deliver something really good, and it just takes a while. But we're very happy about what we're working on so far, and some pretty high caliber people are getting involved. So it's very encouraging. It's amazing.
So that's awesome to hear. I can't wait to check it out whenever you guys get done with it. I was going to ask you, do you mind maybe talking about some of the experiments that you have planned, and like you said, coming up, like how, what they consist of, what you're going to look for, what are you going to try, and maybe are you taking suggestions for?
Oh, always
ideas?
taking suggestion. The thing is, it's just a matter of nailing down some specifics. So the thing with the magnet that Casey's trying now to run this across individuals will be huge. I don't know if it's very clear to people, but if we can substantiate this literally will change everything. Because if you can prove that you can see information on the molecule that you cannot see without it, I mean, that's just like you prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that space is real, which is exactly what I started with and what I wanted to do from the beginning. That was the original thought. How do we prove officially that this is a real space? Not metaphorically, not adjacent to really, really real space. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, something's going on since everyone can see it. It may take a little time, but everyone can see it. So you have something tangible there that you can measure in different ways and really look at. And that's why I'm interested in what experience. One being the experiments, one being the strobe, the magnets. Go ahead.
Confirmed.
Confirmed?
Confirmed.
No.
Yep.
Wait, when you're moving the magnet, like it's doing like I said, like you move the magnet and you see the scrambling moving with it from the back of the paper?
Okay.
So if you know what I mean, right? So if you project the laser to the front, I know it's kind of hard when you're in the molecule, but like if the laser is hitting here, so you take the magnet and then you move it from the back of the paper across the where you see the light to be, and then see if the scramble moves with the magnet.
So what I have set up is I have a large magnet duct tape to the back of a surface.
Got it.
So I have a wide, took a Sharpie with a square, so I know exactly where that magnet is.
Okay.
To the right of the surface, I can clearly see the code in the surface. Where the magnet is, I cannot.
Interesting. And okay, so the issue is experimentally is because, like, for example, I trust your word, right? But experimentally, people will say, well, you know where the magnet is. That's the problem. The whole point is to prove that if you don't know where the magnet is, or at least to the extent that you can see, if you move the magnet or move the paper across, well, if you can move the magnet across the paper and not the other way around, that will be the way, because you can see if the scrambling element is moving across, because if it is, it's absolutely the magnet. And then you can start testing if people can actually see where the magnet is. And to your question, Danny, no, it's not appearance related observation. It's you should not have that information observation, and now you do, right? So basically, if you again, I'm going to repeat it again. If you have a big wall, it has to be like a thin sheet, right? And I'm standing behind it, and let's say you can't see me, it's completely opaque, and I'm putting a magnet that you also can't see somewhere in the back. And if you're projecting a laser from the other side and you ingest the molecule, and now you're looking from your side and you can't see me and you can't see the magnet, and if you can tell me exactly where the magnet is every time just because you see the scrambling effect of the code from the other side, that's information you should not have from the other side. Jesus Christ.
Well, why do you have to have mushrooms or any psychedelic information to have that when it could be in your own spirit?
I mean, no, you're going to have to catch up.
No.
Yeah, I mean, if you actually want to know, you're gonna have to watch the videos, because this is
I don't need to know. I already have that in my own soul.
Got it.
I don't need to take things.
Sure. So I think you're speaking a different you're speaking from a different perspective, and that's okay.
Yes, and yeah.
Yeah.
God bless you all. And
God bless you too.
I'm gonna leave you guys, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Hope to see you guys again soon.
See you.
Thank you. Dan, I have a question.
Sure.
It's kind of an elementary question, but so like you shine the laser on the wall. You look through it, you see the code. Say if you were to set it up, but like you're shining on the back of a leather couch or something. Being that it's a different surface, can you tell if the code? I don't know the code's running fast. Is it the same?
Yeah, it seems to be always the same. I don't think it codes for the properties of that we see. I think it codes for space-time itself.
Okay.
So then so essentially it would be, in my hypothesis, it codes for what reality is doing at bottom and how it interacts with your consciousness, or maybe part of it is consciousness, but it's not coding for the blackness of the couch or for the texture of the whatever fabric it has on it. It's not coding for that. It's coding for the laws of physics, and then everything else is kind of the same. Yeah. But I hope that what I'm explaining about the magnet is clear and not confusing to anybody, because it's super straightforward, which is also why it's wild. Because the magnet is the only surface I've ever seen that the code is probably not changing, but you can see the difference between how light bounces off of it. So if the postulation, like Gallimore is saying, is that this is like some kind of a visual hallucination, it stops being possible. It's still possible if you kind of know that the magnetic field is interfering with the light, and then the photons are running, like bouncing off in a random scattering. So then your brain knows that, and it would complete that hallucination accordingly. But if you don't know where the magnet is, if you do not have that information, the brain cannot incorporate that into the hallucination, which means that if you do see where the scrambling is happening, it must be a real information, because that information is being scrambled without the element that would tell your brain to scramble it under the hallucination model.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay. In any case, that's on that front. Everybody on YouTube. Also, I wanna make something clear to everybody here, guys. Whatever I do a live almost every single day, right? Sometimes I have a different mood. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I'm happy. Sometimes I'm whatever, right? And I'm a person, so we have all kinds of ideas floating around. And when I'm in a different mood, I have other kinds of ideas my brain entertains. In addition to that, sometimes you don't know what's going to happen in the life. Part of the magic of the way that I see it of these lives is that sometimes you just let things fly. There was here a thing here that happened. I think Casey was here. It was bananas. People showed up and they started. It was a circus. Like it was chaos, absolute chaos. People just started talking about I don't know what. There was a lady that there was music playing and she didn't know how to turn it off. There was a reverb to her voice. There was a clown running around. There was like I don't know what was happening. It was literally like Burning Man on L. I don't. It was craziness, right? And
Transcended.
it was transcendent. And one choice in that moment was to just shut everybody down and go, all right, bye, and just throw them out, right? It's not how I do things. It's not how I do things. I want to see what happens. And if it goes on for too long, okay, that's fine. We can try and restore order. But one of the things that I noticed that the second you make things happen, and this happened more than once, where people sound to everybody, they kind of sound like, oh wait, are they trolling or are they like, and then maybe they're just a little confused, whatever it is. And sometimes it would happen that somebody else would come on and they start interacting, and all of a sudden you have this like completely coherent conversation that makes perfect sense in terms of, in spiritual terms, even in physical terms. Like all of a sudden there's this beauty come out, because I assure you that most people, they mean well, whatever it is, right? And not everybody knows how to speak really well or to immediately express themselves really well, right? So it will just always happen that somebody in the audience will not be happy. I can tell you right now that if your expectation that at every single live it's always going to be the exact same thing and the same things will happen, you will always be disappointed, and that's okay. Like I just want you to know that the audience here, I want you to understand that we're allowing to explore. So if that's not your cup of tea, that's okay. You can come back tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be another live, and that's fine. But complaining about it and getting edgy about it and rude about it, that's not helping anyone. It's also not the vibe of the live. So I just want to let you know that. Okay, I want everybody to know that very clearly.
The vibe of the live.
The vibe of the live, baby. We're flowing. If you can't flow, that ain't your life, and that's
Same
okay.
vibe,
Come back
same
tomorrow.
tribe.
That's fine. Huh?
Same vibe, same tribe.
Exactly. It's really important for me because there's no question that the second the audience is going to keep growing, there's always going to be more and more and more people that particular things will not vibe with them. They will not like it. It's part of it. It's fine. I don't. At the moment, from what I saw, it's fine. Like it's all kind of like vanilla. People are just kind of expressing their minds. But I'm letting everybody know right now that if anybody starts, and it does happen sometimes, you start drifting into like insults, things like this, I will kick you out. Like I'm not tolerating this on these lives. That's not what we do here. Sometimes people don't always know how to express themselves. That's fine. And maybe they're not your cup of tea. I'm going to reiterate again. I know it sounds like a broken record. I want to make sure that everybody understands really, really well. And also sometimes, hey, I can't always be, on top of my game and have all kinds of fun things to say. And it's fine. Like it's all fine and it's all love. And I want everybody to have respect and a little bit more patience. And if it drags for you, I get it. I understand. But then just suck it up. There's going to be another live, or in 5 minutes, the person is going to go away and it's going to be something else. It's all good. It's all love. It really, that's a very important component of this whole thing.
Dan.
Huh?
Yeah, you fucking rock.
I love you, man.
Good luck on Tuesday. Fucking love you, man.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait.
All right, guys. All of that being said, I do appreciate everybody here, and especially the people who joined the community, and Ben and Gustavo, and truly, like, I know I say this all the time, but it does mean a lot to me because it's not a given that people give their either time and or money to. They can use it for whatever they want, and time is our biggest commodity, and I'm always honored to see that the numbers always grow and there's more people on the lives and they stay on the lives. The average retention on these lives is, I don't know what the general average is, but mine, I don't know. I'm kind of amazed by this. Like so many people just staying from the beginning to the end, or like a big chunk of it. So I'm honored. and I'm gonna keep trying to do my best so we have something very productive and fun and entertaining and educational, all of the things, and inspiring above all. So I do want to thank everybody in the community and all the people that just joined. I already gave all the handles. If you're on TikTok, you can just follow the link tree. And if you're on X, if you're not on X, the one thing I will mention, you should join X. Goaler Danny. Just because on Tuesday I'm going to have the conversation with Gallimore, and I think it's definitely worth hearing. And I know for a fact there's going to be some other scientists there, and so there's going to be a lot of weighing in on all kinds of topics. And I think it's going to be a pivotal moment for both the project, and honestly, I think it's just going to be a pivotal moment, period, or one that's going to start a serious one. So okay, I think I said enough. I think I definitely started rambling. Live life. Benson. What is it? Love, laugh, live, love, laugh, laugh, bark.
Eat, pray, queef. I think
All right, guys. Truly love you all. Thank you so much for being a part of this community. Peace and love. Ciao. See you tomorrow, and hopefully tomorrow we'll bring up the pace. We'll bring up the pace. It's gonna be great. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for having me on. I appreciate the information.
You too, Trev, and thank you so much for the
guys
strobe.
later.
I'm definitely gonna experiment with this, and like I always say, if you guys feel inclined, please give the live likes. The algorithms love this. Even in the end, across all platforms, TikTok and X and YouTube and Twitch, the likes really help. Also, comments really help, and sharing really helps. To you, Trev, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be utilized, because this I don't know why I didn't think of utilizing it. And even though it's true that I thought about this idea in the beginning, it doesn't matter. You brought it back to my attention. If we're going to be incorporating this on a regular basis in the experiments, I will, unless you don't want that, that's okay. But I will be crediting you specifically, because it's very important for me that all the people that brought the ideas that did work and contributed to the project, they will be always remembered as the people that brought this idea and engaged and helped to move the project forward. So I'm going to be crediting you with this idea in our protocol and everywhere else moving forward.
That'd be pretty cool. Just another thing, in the email I sent you, I included a picture of the actual the tool. It doesn't seem that expensive. Like I said, we have it at work. I wish I could just let you use it, but
oh no, we'll just get one. I'm working on a research grant right now. Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe you can work something out.
Yeah, no, I'm working on a research grant, and I think we're gonna have a budget, and part of it is obviously gonna be buying things like this and playing with all kinds of fun things. But again, thank you so much for engaging, and thank you for the ideas. And to your question, Dave, yes, you can see it on mushrooms. You're just gonna need a lot more. You're gonna need like 3.5 grams at least for that one.
one last thing.
Yeah.
I put a pair of 3D glasses,
Mm-hmm.
and I put it over my iPhone cam. And when you do that and film, and you look at the laser, the most killer. You can see the laser all the way to the surface, and these cones, perfect clarity. You can see the laser. It's amazing, like the beam itself.
What? Wait, repeat that again. So you put polarizing glasses.
No, so I have a pair of 3D glasses.
Oh, 3D glasses. Okay.
Yeah. And I place it over the camera on my iPhone. And then point it at the beam, where the beam would be, and you see the most perfect crystal clear cones of light going all the way to the surface. Yeah.
Wait, I still don't understand. You put the glasses in front of the camera of the phone?
Yeah. So like this, so the camera has to look through the 3D glasses.
But the 3D glasses, the whole effect is that you have to look through both the red and the blue, no?
I don't know how they work, but yeah. Well, when you double it up, it makes it even more weird cross pattern. But just one of them.
Just one of them on the camera, and then you're looking at the camera.
Because they have regular glasses now with like a clear lens that are for 3D viewing, like the 3D TVs. So is it the red and blue glasses that you have, sir, or is the regular glasses that are clear that used to come with the TVs like 10 years ago?
I think he's in hyperspace. That's great. All right, Casey, I'm gonna hop off. Love you, brother. Trev, thank you so much for everything.
Yeah,
And
thank you. Take it easy, guys. See you later.
thank
chat.
you. Have a good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. Ciao. See you guys. Thank you so much for everything.